the wig.
Tommy.
How you doing? Hey, how's it going? Good job. Nice to meet you. Oh, son, Steve, this is your son. What? They machine right here. They had it on another building for the reapers. They have another machine. Only had two. They had that. So that's our first one.
Is Evan getting you your pizza? Do you want him to? Because he's in line right now.
That's all right. I'll be all right.
Are you sure? Because I'm getting pizza so I can share it with you.
We got 2 ice cuts. We'll be all right.
Not a good caretaker.
Feel better now?
You feel hurt?
Still lacking energy.
He's fucking it's 21 give him no, he kept saying he was always sick and I'm not around. Trying to find doctors 17, so not kind of like, well, like, we'll take you 4 months or 24 months, whatever. So then we got, my first day off, we go to my first medic. The doctor calls in and I'm drinking all day and yeah.
All right, we're getting ready to start the first state championship game against Windy City Storm. We're going to start out with Chalicki, Paulo, Kruger, Rabicki, Campbell. It's going to be 20-minute periods, 2 ice cuts. So they're ready for a long game. Storm control the first faceoff, dump it in. It goes on cutting in net today. Game plan today for Fury is probably going to be something along the lines of staying out of the penalty box, utilizing their speed, and staying off of the boards. Storm, when that face-off back, gets tapped into the middle of the ice, shot off of the blocker of Cutting over the sideboard. Kruger up for Chalicki. Chalicki had the puck taken away from him at center ice and dumped back in. Cutting plays it over to the corner. Paulo plays it up for Chalicki and across for Rabicki. Chalicki gets a change. Rabicki sends that in. Reynolds and Nietzsche on the ice. Onak and Miller at D. Storm send it back in. Kruger goes to get it. Kruger from behind the net, looking for somewhere to go, gets it back down for Reynolds. Reynolds across for Onak, hits off of a Storm player. Onak, a shot on the near side, almost hits off of the stomach of the goaltender, but falls into his glove. Letcher comes out to join Reynolds and Nietzsche. 19:05 to go in the first. Nietzsche to take the face-off. Face-off one back to Letcher. Quick whistle. Somebody must have gone a little early. Nietzsche wins that back to Onak. Onak to the bumper spot to Letcher. Letcher's shot gets tied up and goes wide of the net. Reynolds working in the corner. Onak doesn't well to knock that puck away, but Storm wind up with it in neutral ice. They send it down low behind Cutting and around up the boards for Reynolds. Reynolds makes some space for himself, goes behind the net and then up the near board. Crossing, he's got Miller with him. Shot gets deflected and into the netting. Kishkowski, Pulauskas, Bergeron come on the ice with 18:29 to go in the first. Priskintis and Aldridge at D. Storm win that to the corner and to go around the boards and up. Through neutral ice, Brzgintis steps up, pushes to the side, shot off of cutting and into the corner. Aldridge pins Kuszkowski over to help. Puck up the boards and across by Storm. Tipped in front off of the glass into the corner. Kuszkowski pushes the puck up to Bergeron. Bergeron to Brzgintis. Brzgintis and Pulauskas enter the zone. Shot off pad for Pulauskas. Bounces wide to Pulauskas. He goes into the boards and puck goes to the neutral zone. Puck back to Aldridge over to Kuszkowski. Kuszkowski up the sideboard. Over to Campbell. Campbell pushing into neutral ice. Up to Storm. Storm send it back in and go for a change. Kuszkowski across for Campbell. Up for Bergeron and taken away. Credidio comes on the ice. Shot from the middle, hits the post, over to the corner. Puck through the crease, over to the opposite side. Another shot, hits off of Kuszkowski and kept in by Storm. Storm on the sideboard, gets knocked away from Kuszkowski, and then back to neutral ice, Credidio giving chase. Storm enter the zone again on the near side. Puck knocks over to Campbell. Campbell sends it into the ice. Brown and Carter come on the ice. Credidio gets a stick on the puck. Carter comes in, knocks the puck, puts it over to the corner. Credidio in the slot. Carter shot, bounces off over to Brown. Brown makes a move, puck to the corner. Down for Credidio, hits off of Credidio. Brown lifts the stick, Credidio sends it back down. Credidio goes for a change. Oh, no, Credidio decides to stay on. Carter goes for a hit, puck to the side. Brown knocks it down low. Up to Credidio. Shot gets blocked and over to the corner. Storm send it out into neutral ice. Kruger comes on for Brown. Puck hits off of Kruger. Storm go for a change. Storm flip the puck in. It's going to go off of cutting and on the glass. Kept in. Quick shot goes wide of cutting and then over to Credidio in the corner. Puck back up to Kruger. Credidio and Carter get a change. Kruger gets rubbed off of the puck and sent back up by Storm. Storm trying to get it out from the linesmen, have to regroup. Chalicki and Paulo have come on the ice. Puck chipped over to the side, stuck in the linesman, skates again. Storm cross ice. Chalicki reads it, but doesn't quite get a hold of it. Storm back into the offensive zone, shot off of cutting into the glass. Back down low, tipped in front and over to the corner. Chalicki on the far side. Looking for Kruger, gets tipped by Storm and goes down into the corner and back up for Onak. Onak tried to get a shot. Second shot tipped in front by Chalicki. 15:23 to go in the first. Storm with control. Shot off of Paulo's stick and out of play. Letcher, Nietzsche, Reynolds come on. Puck under feet, dug out by Storm. They send it back to their D. DDD crossing up, put it back into the corner. Storm doing their job of sticking to the boards, trying to tie up and slow down the game as much as possible. Onak able to dig the puck out, moves it up for Letcher, and then put into neutral ice. Miller knocks that puck, sent in by Storm onto Onak, over to Reynolds. Reynolds gets past one guy, puck goes into the corner, back up for Aldridge, who's just come on a change. Brzgintis carries down, gets a shot, bounces off of a blocker. Storm try to clear and do. They go for a change. Aldridge to Letcher. Letcher with time, decides to move the puck into the zone, puts it down low. Nietzsche goes to get it. Storm sent around the near board. Brzgintis keeps it in. Pulauskas comes in off of a change. Backhand shot gets blocked and goes behind the net. Puck back up for Przgintis. Goes all the way back. Kashkowski has come on, and he goes for a change. Aldridge over to Przgintis. Bergeron, Kashkowski, Pulauskas come on. Storm send it down. Over to Przgintis. Przgintis off the glass for Pulauskas. Hits his stick, but makes its way over to Storm. Storm sends it up the boards. Kashkowski's there. Quick shot. Hits off of the goaltender and behind the net. Bergeron trying to dig the puck out, gets taken down. Storm up the near boards. Cross ice pass bounces off and over to Rybicki. Rybicki sends it around and up for Bergeron. Bergeron to Kashkowski. Kashkowski goes to send it in and it misses and goes out of play. Paulo, Chalicki, Kruger come on the ice. Campbell and Rybicki at D. Face off, push over to the near board. Campbell sends it up for Kruger, gets pinned by Storm and sent back in. Rybicki takes a look from behind, cutting over to Campbell. Campbell for Kruger, misses Kruger. Must have touched somebody because there's no icing. Storm cover, and we'll get a face-off. 12:55 to go in the first, still 0-0. Face-off controlled by Fury. Kruger sends that over to Rybicki, who sends it back across for Campbell. Campbell sends one over for Chalicki, but it bounces up and then off Chalicki's head, and then into neutral ice. Storm, couple missed passes, back to Kruger. Kruger to Chalicki, shot and in the chest with 12:33 to go. Onak and Miller come out at D. Brown, Credidio, and Carter for our forward line. Carter sets up. Puck gets knocked behind. Brown sends it to Onak. Onak shot in the stomach of the goaltender and no rebound. Face off to the corner. Storm send it behind their goaltender. Carter hard on the forecheck. Knocks the puck. It goes to the corner. They send it across. Misses a pass. Miller up for Carter. Carter sends it in. Storm go D to D. Tipped and sent in on Cutting. Cutting plays it up off of the boards. Miller to Credidio. Up for Carter. Credidio gets rubbed off the boards and the puck goes back in. Miller for Credidio misses. It goes right back to Storm and they send it back down low. Puck on the sideboard. Brown comes over. Brown takes a slash but gets the puck out. Storm's off sides. Carter goes for a change and Nietzsche comes on. Miller streaking up the ice. Cuts in. Carries the puck down. Credidio backdoor. Puck gets knocked away. Miller leaves it and Storm clear. Puck's going to go all the way down. Przgintis is going to have to get there. Puck sent out of the zone. Nietzsche comes to get it, taken away by Storm. Przgintis working on the board. Reynolds takes it across. Brown changes. Letcher comes on. Reynolds, shot wide. Reynolds gets his rebound. Puck over to the sideboard. Tried to clear by Storm. Przgintis goes across for Letcher. Letcher trying to get that puck back. Storm send it back into neutral ice and then send it all the way down. Brzgintis gets past one, carries the puck in, but then it gets knocked away. Storm the other direction. Shot high off of the glass. Sent back in. Storm working in the corner now. Send it up the near boards. Pulauskas blocks a pass. Puck gets down for Kushkowski and then cleared. And that's going to go for icing. Pulauskas was working hard trying to get there first, but didn't quite make it. 10-10 to go in the first, still 0-0. Storm win that faceoff. Pulauskas gets a block. Storm again. Bergeron blocks it. Puck into neutral ice. Bergeron limping a little bit after that block. Goes across, gets a change, and Kruger comes on. Puck sent down, and that'll be icing. Hollow, Chalicki, Kruger on the ice. Campbell and Rybicki at D. Face-off push to the corner by Storm. Kruger gets a stick on the puck and it goes back behind the net. Storm looking for a cross-ice pass, decide to flip it. Puck gets sent in. Campbell goes and gets it, brings it up for Hollow, misses. That's going to slow down, hit some snow on the side of the net, or side of the boards there where the Storm changed. Chalicki pressuring. Storm drop it back. Coming through middle of the ice. Hollow knocks that puck away, but back to a Storm player. Kruger trying to push. It does go to Campbell. Campbell carries forward. Kushkowski comes on. Campbell gets the puck knocked away, but on net, and the goaltender covers. Bergeron, after that blocked shot, taking a shift off. Looks like he's working his leg off a little bit. We're going to have Kushkowski, Brown, and Pulauskas on the ice. Face-off one over to Brown, but whistle. Somebody was cheating on the face-off. Storm get kicked out. Face-off one to the middle of the ice, but knocked away by Storm. They jump the pass a little bit. Brown comes back, lifts a stick. Storm send the puck around. Puck back in neutral ice. Storm regroup. Brown up to give pressure. Storm drop it back. Up the near boards. Kushkowski slows it down. Puck gets knocked in low. Puck coming around and then up to the front. Kushkowski comes to block. Storm sends it into the corner. Onak up for Pulauskas. Down back for Miller. Miller over to Pulauskas. Pulauskas up for Kushkowski. Goes on the opposite side of Kushkowski. Storm send that back into the zone, but Onak back into neutral ice. Brown chips it ahead for Kush. Kushkowski sends the puck down low. Reynolds and Letcher come on. Aldridge and Brzgintis at D. Puck in neutral ice. Knocked away by Letcher over to Reynolds. Reynolds has a little bit of a lane. Oh, pass across for Letcher. Just too far ahead. Letcher working on the corner, knocks it back for Reynolds. Reynolds digs it out. Dumps it back low. Nietzsche goes to get it. 7:36 to go. Brzgintis changes. Campbell comes on. Storm up the near boards. Quick punch turn. Nice hit by Nietzsche. Letcher picks up the loose puck and chips it in. Nietzsche working in the corner. Another big hit by Nietzsche. Puck to Campbell. Campbell puts it in front for Nietzsche. Nietzsche gets a hold of it, but wasn't able to put it on. Goaltender doesn't have a stick. Storm clears it. Storm has a guy in. Cross pass misses and goes to the far board. Carter gets a hit. Nietzsche's going to ice, and we'll get a change with 6:59 to go. Kruger, Chalicki, Paulo, Onak, and Miller on the ice. Puck one back and up. Misses past Kruger, but does get to Chalicki. Puck stuck in feet. Chalicki gets a hold of it. Over to Miller, back to Chalicki. Chalicki takes a hit. Puck goes into the corner for Paulo. Paulo trying to get that to Kruger, taken away by Storm. Puck goes across. Storm just trying to dump it in again. Paulo takes a hit. Puck up to Chalicki. Chalicki gets it to Onak. Onak settles it down. Gets it in. That's interference. 6:18 to go. Carter and Credidio come on. Brown has come on. Onak changes. Prisgintis comes on. Carter with the puck, looking for somewhere to go. Finds Prisgintis. Prisgintis puts it on net, up to Carter. Carter roots it. Hits off of the glass and bounces back. Prisgintis tries to get a shot on. Storm trying to clear it, goes over to Aldridge. Aldridge carries the puck in to Credidio. Credidio to Brown. Brown and Carter gets that up to Aldridge. Aldridge puts it up front, bounces off of the goaltender, and the Storm get a much-needed whistle as Fury were pressing. Good opportunity, puck right to Carter in front of the net, and I think he just misjudged it by about 6 inches. Bergeron back out on the ice, which is good news. He's a great shot blocker, good worker. We'll get the puck on the faceoff, goes back to Storm. Pulauskas pushing hard. Storm trying to send that puck up again. Hits off of Pulauskas. Storm have to regroup. Storm, not the most skilled team. Oh, puck up in front, stopped by Cutting and then knocked to the sideboard by Campbell. Storm send it back in. Puck behind the net. Rybicki and Kushkowski working on the corner. Puck up the sideboard now. Rybicki gets the puck taken away, but it is in neutral ice, so Storm regroup. 4:53 to go in the first. Still 0-0. Couple of early chances. Kushkowski gets that puck knocked away. Storm go down trying to block it, but he's patient enough to wait. Miller comes on the ice. Puck bounces off of Miller's stick and over to Storm. Kushkowski's got a cover on D. Storm have 3. Shot goes wide of Cutting. Miller up to Bergeron. Bergeron taps it to Pulauskas. Pulauskas into the zone. Goes for a shot, but it doesn't go with him. Nietzsche comes on the ice. Miller takes a knee. That's a penalty, too. Puck over to Onak. Bounces past him, and Storm come in. Onak. Cross ice over to Pulauskas. Knocked away by Storm. Miller sends that up for Nietzsche. Nietzsche battling on the boards. Reynolds comes in to help. Tapped away by Reynolds. Letcher on the ice as well. Onak, Prisgintis at D. 3:58 to go in the first. Letcher working against Storm, trying to carry out. Gets a stick lift. Storm gets knocked away. They cross center ice and send the puck back in. Onak trying to work. Storm working off the boards. Go for a centering cast in front. It hits off of somebody, and Cutting covers. Paulo, Letcher, Chalicki come on the ice. Brzgintis and Aldridge at D. Storm win the faceoff, try to get a backhand shot. It's blocked by Kruger. Another shot on cutting. He sees it the whole way. .334 to go. Paulo to take the faceoff. Faceoff to the corner. Brzgintis knocks it off of the glass. It goes into neutral ice. Kruger picks it up. Kruger tries to split the D, gets knocked away. Storm the other direction. Shot blocked and then hits the rafters and goes out of play. Brown, Pulauskas, Krzyzkowski on the ice. Puck over the sideboard, knocked over by Campbell to Brown. Brown and Pulauskas. Pulauskas enters, puts a shot off pad. It bounces back to Pulauskas. Over to the corner. Krzyzkowski gets a big hit. Rybicki knocks the puck to Krzyzkowski, and we're going to say hand pass. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that hitting your hand is the same as a hand pass. But either way, we're in the neutral zone. Krzyzkowski, Pulauskas, Brown, Rybicki, Campbell. Face off over to the far board. Rybicki gets a hold of it and sends it around. Brown comes in to come get it in the corner. Brown absorbs the hit, gets the puck to Pulauskas. Puck underneath Pulauskas skates. Brown digs it out. Brown takes a look. Cross for Rybicki. Rybicki's shot is blocked. It goes to the corner. Pulauskas and Krzyzkowski trying to get it. Krzyzkowski gets held. Storm up the sideboard. Brown comes in, knocks it away. Krzyzkowski looking for Pulauskas. Gets knocked into neutral ice. It's going to go on cutting, no icing. Cutting decides to cover, and we'll get a change. Good opportunities there. Hopefully we'll get one home. Reynolds, Nietzsche, Letcher, Onak, and Miller, come on. Puck underneath the center's feet. Storm get to it. Shot goes wide, and another shot off of the pad of cutting into the middle of the ice. Storm again. Shot blocked by Letcher. Puck up front. Nietzsche blocks another shot. Letcher takes the puck away. Goes to make some room, and the puck gets into the netting and out of play. Brzgintis and Aldridge come out at D. Minute 58 to go in the first. We'll have an ice cut after the first period, and then we'll come back another 20 minutes. Face-off pushed in front of the net. Brzgintis gets a stick on it, goes to the corner. Aldridge sends it back around. A Michigan attempt. Doesn't make it. Puck over to the sideboard. Sent forward for Nietzsche. Nietzsche goes across for Reynolds, but it gets deflected. Letcher trying to work that puck, knocked away by Storm. Storm with two men in. Brzgintis knocks the puck over to the corner, takes it away, and puts it up for Reynolds. Reynolds slows it down, takes a look, drops it for Brzgintis. Brzgintis back to Reynolds. Reynolds gets tied up. Puck gets taken away. We're going to get a power play. Minute 19 to go, and Reynolds draws a hook. So with a minute 19 to go in the first, we're going to send out Pulauskas, Chalicki, Paulo, Kushkowski, and Campbell. Campbell over to Kushkowski. Back to Chilicki. Cross ice for Kush. Up to Campbell again. Campbell goes for a shot. It's blocked. Campbell sends it back up for Paulo. Paulo to Campbell. Chilicki back to Campbell. Campbell decides to carry it in. Sends it down low. Pulauskas goes to get it. Pulauskas gets rubbed off the puck. Storm on the sideboard decide to clear. Chilicki knocks it to Campbell. 38 seconds to go in the period. Minute 17 in the power play. Paulo carries forward. Back up to Kushkowski. Kushkowski misplays it. Puck gets back into Fury ice. Campbell sends it up to Chilicki. Chilicki to Kushkowski. Reynolds is on the ice. Kushkowski drops it to Reynolds. Reynolds into the corner. Up for Chilicki. Paulo goes for a change. Nietzsche comes on. Onak's shot is blocked. Storm clear. Probably did have a trip there on Onak. That'll be the end of the first. Still 0-0. Give us about 10 minutes on the ice cut and we'll be back. Coming back off the ice coat, we've got 41 seconds of power play left. Reynolds, Letcher, Nietzsche, Onak, and Priskintis on the ice. Storm win that face-off back. They carry it around and send it wide of Cutting. Bounces off of the boards. Reynolds comes in, picks it up. Back behind Cutting. Drops it for Letcher. Letcher sends it across for Priskintis. Almost knocked away by Storm. Priskintis sends that back in. Storm takes it away. Goes off of the glass. Kept in by Letcher, but then knocked between his legs. Storm have two in. Shot off of Cutting. He knocks that to the far board. Puck up to Onak. Onak sends it forward for Letcher. Letcher. Nietzsche sends that puck for Priskintis back to Onak. Onak back down low for Nietzsche. Nietzsche behind the net. Net gets knocked off, and we get a whistle. Kruger Paulo and Chalicki come on as the penalty has expired. We're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Rubicki and Campbell at D. Puck knocks behind Paulo. Paulo gets a shot. It goes above the glove of the goaltender. Chalicki gets knocked off the puck. Rubicki steps in front of that. Puck lost in Chalicki's skates. Gets knocked away by Storm. They send it across, and that'll go for an icing. 18:52 to go in the second. We'll come all the way back. Same personnel grouping. Puck to sideboard. Kruger sends it in front, gets tipped and into the goaltender's stomach. Chalicki in front. Looked like it hit his shaft. 18:46 to go. Paulo steps in to take the draw. Puck bounces behind him. Chalicki goes to get it up to Campbell. Over to Rubicki. Rubicki back down low. Chalicki goes to get it. Chalicki holds the puck, kicks it behind the net. Storm knock it to the corner. Kruger comes over to give pressure. Puck up the boards. Knocked away by Campbell. Kruger turns around, brings it in. Bergeron comes on. Paulo goes behind the net. Up to Campbell. Campbell walks the line, gets a shot, gets deflected in front. Kruger tied up. Puck underneath Kruger. Berge comes to get it out. Berge gets it out, gets it to Campbell. Campbell, one shot. Goes wide. Kushkowski comes on. Kruger changes. Polauskas comes on. Storm dumped that puck in. Campbell knocks it over to Kush. Polauskas takes a high hit. Storm regroup. Storm carrying back in, send it behind Cutting and over to Rubicki in the corner. Rubicki takes a hit. Kushkowski to Polauskas, knocked away by Storm. Storm take it back. Shot off of Cutting. Rubicki sends that to the far board, sent back in by Storm, back to Rubicki. Rubicki out of the zone and regrouped by Storm in neutral ice. Puck up the near board and across. Storm enter in the middle. Rubicki steps in front. Puck centering. Gets put on Cutting and covered. Campbell got put in a headlock there. 17:02 to go. Nietzsche, Letcher, Reynolds are joined by Onak and Miller. Storm definitely picking up the hitting this period. Puck to the corner. Miller sends it off of the glass, and it goes out of play. Nietzsche squares up. Storm control the faceoff, get a shot. It goes wide of Cutting over to the far board. Miller stops that puck from going any further, but it gets knocked into the air. Good stick lift by Miller. Another shot wide of Cutting. An attempt across Gage's chest goes wide. Onak gets tripped, and we're going to go back on the power play. So with 16:35 to go in the second, Storm 2 minutes tripping. Reynolds, Nietzsche, Letcher, Onak, Priskintis on for this power play. Faceoff bounces between the two centers, gets knocked back by Storm and then past Prisgintis. Cutting slows the puck down and leaves it for Prisgintis. Letcher and Reynolds come up to cross. Reynolds picks the puck up from behind Cutting. Drops it for Letcher. Cross ice for Prisgintis. Prisgintis tried to pop that stick down. Storm take it back and then send it down on Cutting. Cutting to Letcher. Minute 29 to go in the power play. Reynolds picks it back up. Drops for Prisgintis. Cross ice for Nietzsche. Nietzsche gets tied up. Storm clear. Puck knocked away by Letcher. Prisgintis carrying through. Loses the puck. Onak comes in to help. Storm doing what they do and keeping us on the boards. Storm clears again. Onak changes. Reynolds changes. Kushkowski and Chalicki come on. Prisgintis cross ice. Bounces for Nietzsche. Nietzsche gets past one guy, but stick lifted for another. Storm clear at 41 seconds to go. Campbell's out. Pulauskas comes on. Kushkowski has the puck knocked away. Storm clear again. Paulo comes on for Letcher. Campbell to Paulo. Paulo to Chalicki. Chalicki. Puck hits off of Storm. Pulauskas gets that to Campbell. Cross to Kushkowski. Kushkowski finds Paulo. Paulo, quick shot. Hits off of the goaltender and to the corner. Pulauskas to Kushkowski. Kushkowski again. Puck gets knocked up in the air. Paulo and Kushkowski working on the boards. Paulo digs it out, but Storm tap it off. Tap back to Pulauskas. We're 5-on-5. Storm have a man up. Campbell racing back to get him. Campbell does a nice job tying up. Puck to the corner. Paulo digs it out to Chalicki for Kushkowski. And we're offsides. We'll get a change. Bergeron, Kruger, Brown, Prisgintis, and Aldridge on the ice. 14:02 to go in the second. Kruger gets kicked. Bergeron comes in to take the draw. Storm win that back. Brown comes to give pressure. Puck up the near boards. Storm tries to throw a pick on Bergeron and decides to fall in. Puck gets knocked over to Brown. Brown sends it in. Storm up the boards. Bounces away over to Prisgintis. Chips ahead for Bergeron. Bergeron sends it in. Kruger giving some pressure. Puck goes across ice. They had a man behind Aldridge, but that goes for icing. 13:30 to go. We'll get a change. Reynolds, Letcher, Nietzsche. Onak and Rybicki. Storm control that face-off. They go over to their D in the corner. Cross ice pass, bounce off the boards and up. Onak knocks that puck away over to Rybicki. Rybicki up to Letcher. Knocked back down to Rybicki. Rybicki from behind Cutting. Has some space. Up to Letcher. Chips in. Nietzsche to the corner. Big hit. And Nietzsche's going to get a penalty. Paulo comes on. This guy never calls anything. Onak touches up. We got a whistle. I don't see how that's interference. If you want to call the roughing, but I don't see interference. The puck was there. So we'll go on our first kill of the game. Little gamesmanship from Storm. They wanted the face-off on the other side, and they got it. This helps the handedness of their center. Paulo wins it anyway. Over to Onak. Onak around for Reynolds. Reynolds knocks it off of the boards, and then Storm knocks it into neutral ice. Storm regrouping over to the near board. Send it back behind their goaltender. Reynolds up front. Paulo in the middle. Storm go wide. Miller pushes it to the side, and then they go back up. Puck bounces away. Paulo tries to send it out. Hits Storm. Onak tries to get a hit on. Puck bounces away. Storm have it again. Hits off of Reynolds and out. 11:55 to go in the second. 1:15 on the kill. Storm escape Reynolds. He changes. Letcher comes on. Kishkowski has come on for Paulo. Shot partially blocked by Aldridge. Still gets on cutting and deflects out of play. Minute 2 to go on the kill. Gintis tries to send that around hard. It gets deflected and into the netting. Storm control the faceoff, go back up to the blue line and across. Letcher gets a stick on it, goes over to Kishkowski. Kishkowski clears. Storm has to set up again. Drop pass. Enters in, tries to get past Aldridge. Sends it back down low. Priskintis gets a hit. Puck goes onto the sideboard. Back up to the blue line. Pass, missing stick. Tried to center it forward. Priskintis knocks him off the puck and then knocks it up. Kishkowski gets it out. Kishkowski clears. Letcher was going for a change, but Storm come right back in. Kishkowski, another stick. That's interference, and we got a call. We're going to go 4-on-4 for 7 seconds and then on the power play. Noonan lifts his hand. Interference. There we go. 10:45 to go in the second. We're going to go 4-on-4 for 7 seconds, and then we'll be on the power play. Reynolds, Onak, Letcher, Campbell on the ice. Nietzsche's going to come right out of the box here. Face-off controlled. Oh, Onak with a great idea. Pass into Reynolds. It just goes between Reynolds' stick and his skates. Nietzsche comes out. We're on the power play. Nietzsche comes in hard. Onak knocks the puck down low again. Reynolds back to get it. Storm send it up. Campbell, good job keeping it in. Puck to Letcher. Letcher sends it back down low. Nietzsche goes to get it. Nietzsche ties up. Reynolds digs it out. Reynolds back to Campbell. Storm able to get it out. They've got two in. Campbell smartly takes the pass and deflects it. It bounces on Cutting and he covers. That could have gone very badly. Chris Gintis comes on the ice to join Onak. Puck underneath, both centers tie up. Puck to Letcher. Letcher drops it back for Reynolds. Reynolds up the ice. He's got space. He's going to take it. Reynolds gets knocked off the puck. He sends the puck in though. Reynolds drops that puck down, gets a shot. It goes over to the corner. Onak and Nietzsche trying to get that dug out. Storm really like to be on the boards, and they're going to keep us there as much as they can. Reynolds digs that puck out to Letcher. Cross for Priskintis. Shot. Deflected in front. Goes wide. Reynolds' shot goes through the crease and then out of play. Kishkowski. Chalicki. Paulo, Palauskas, and Campbell on for the 36 seconds remaining in the power play. Face off, one back by Paulo to Kishkowski. Kishkowski skates it in, but gets it over to Campbell. Campbell back to Kishkowski. Shot in front, glove save. It sailed on him just a little bit. If it were a little lower, Paulo was right there. Storm get a change, and two big men come off, and another big man comes on. Face off one to the corner. Palauskas sends that up for Kishkowski. It gets past Kishkowski and sent down. We're cutting 20 seconds to go. One rush. Campbell to Kishkowski for Chalicki. Chalicki to Kishkowski. Drop to Chalicki. Chalicki back down to Kishkowski. Kishkowski off of the boards. 5 seconds. Across for Campbell, and that'll do it. We're even. Kishkowski sends it to the corner. Chalicki goes to get it. Kishkowski changes. Rybicki comes on. Storm through the neutral ice. Quick one time and no rebound. Cutting takes a little snow there, and we take exception. Letcher, Reynolds, Nietzsche on the ice. Storm control the faceoff. Shot. Deflects in front. And goes 5-0 on Cutting. With 8:26 to go in the second, Storm take the lead. Onak, Miller, Presidio, Brown, and Carter on the ice. Carter takes the faceoff. One back to Onak, up for Brown. Brown has to send that in. We tag up. Puck over to the sideboard. Presidio comes in hard. Puck gets behind him. Carter gets a shot on and then sent in by Presidio. Brown coming in hard. Chips it over to Presidio. Presidio bounces the puck up for Onak. Onak back to Carter. Carter to Brown. Brown backhand shot off of the goaltender and to the corner. Miller centering. Onak. Puck goes wide over to Carter. Carter backhands it out of play. Good shift. With 7:40 to go, we'll get a change. A couple of good scoring opportunities there. Kishkowski, Bergeron, Polauskas, Aldridge, and Prisgitsis come on. Face-off controlled by Storm. They go up the far board, touch pass. Enter on the far side. Prisgitsis working against his man. Storm coming back up off the boards and then up to the slot. Shot into Cutting and back to the corner. Up to the D. Bergeron gets it out. Still chasing. Quick turn by Storm and they're back in the zone. Prisgitsis knocks the puck away. Bergeron tries to send it up the board. Storm send it back down low. Shot. Save. Cutting's helmet is broken or messed up and the strap has come undone. So you'll see Cutting knock his helmet off. The strap came undone, and so to get a whistle, that has to happen. Paulo, Kruger, Chalicki on the ice. Campbell, Rubicki at D. Kruger takes the face-off. Storm win it. Puck comes out. Loose puck over on Cutting. Cutting covers. .6:43 to go in the second. Storm up by 1. Paulo wins that faceoff to Rubicki. Rubicki sends it back for Campbell. Campbell to Chalicki. Chalicki for Paulo. Bounces off of Paulo's stick. Paulo knocks it into the zone, though. Paulo and Kruger working on the boards. Paulo still working. Sends it back for Kruger, but it bounces away from Kruger and into the corner. Turnover in the middle. Chalicki tries to go forehand, backhand, and the backhand attempt just does not go. What a lucky bounce right to our guy in front. Rubicki to Chalicki. Chalicki up for Kruger, that misses, no icing called. Carter comes on. Onak and Miller at D. Puck over to Carter. Carter sends it back for Chalicki. Kruger changes. Brown comes on. Chalicki in the corner. Puck bounces off of the boards awkwardly. And we're getting icing. Storm's arguing about the icing. I don't think there was anything to argue about. Carter to take the face off. Presidio offset. Puck over to the corner, up for Miller. Miller sends it back down. Presidio and Brown coming together. Puck bounces off of Presidio. Carter gets a hold of it. Bounces off of one. Puck gets knocked into neutral ice. Storm go cross ice. Onak picks it up. Onak to Brown. Brown tries to send that in. Storm send it on the boards. Brown takes it away. Carter gets a hit. That's interference. Miller lost the puck. Storm trying to get a hold of it. Over to the corner. Brown sends it into neutral ice. Carter coming up to give some pressure. Puck over to the D. Brown comes up. Pass in the middle. Onak with a monster hit. Broke his stick. Has to go for a change. Shot in front. Blocked. Bounces wide. Brzgintis comes on. Brown with a hit. Brzgintis and Miller in the corner. Puck over to Brown. Brown makes a move past one. Slows it down. Gets it to center ice and changes. Credidio changes. Nietzsche, Letcher, Reynolds on the ice. Letcher shot into the glove, and Nietzsche takes a hit up front. 4:20 to go. Nietzsche takes the face-off. Reynolds and Letcher with him. Storm puts that face-off into the corner. Reynolds giving a lot of pressure. Storm still can't get it out from behind their goaltender. Finally comes up the sideboard and into neutral ice. Brzgintis trying to get a stick on it. Aldridge gets a stick on it. Letcher and Storm get tied up. Brzgintis tries to clear that up for Reynolds. Knocks off of the boards, and Storm go cross ice with it. That's interference. We'll go back on the power play after the interference on Nietzsche. Pulauskas, Chalicki, Paulo, Kashkowski, and Campbell on the ice. 2 interference calls. Oh, probably 2. Yeah. The Nietzsche one, it was borderline. But Aldridge was probably, yeah.
Got away with 2 before that. And we got 1. You guys got away with 2. Interference and a trick.
Paulo takes the face off. Over to Chalicki. Storm tied Chalicki up and then clear. Campbell played it with a high stick. He's got to touch it. It's not. Campbell touched it high.
Hey, I slipped him a couple 20s.
Same grouping after a little discussion. Face off 1 to Campbell, over to Chalicki. Chalicki settles it down. Sends it up for Pulauskas. Misses Pulauskas. Bounces off the boards. Chalicki circling. Up to Kush. Cross for Suit. Kushkowski shot low. Gets blocked by a skate. I think it might have hit Paulo's. Kushkowski cross ice for Campbell. Campbell down to Chalicki. Chalicki Shot in front. No rebound. Reynolds, Letcher, Onak, Brzgintis, Nietzsche on the ice. Minute 22 to go in the power play. 3:06 to go in the period. Puck sent around by Storm. Onak keeps it in. Onak in the corner, still with it. Loses an edge. Puck gets knocked over to Nietzsche. Nietzsche up to Reynolds. Reynolds back down for Onak. Onak sends it up to Letcher. Letcher to Brzgintis. Down for Reynolds. Reynolds comes up the sideboard. Settles the puck down. Goes cross for Brzgintis. Brzgintis to Letcher. Letcher avoids contact, gets the puck to Nietzsche. Nietzsche back to Letcher. Letcher to Brzgintis. Pass for Nietzsche. Deflects into the netting. Paulo Pulauskas, Kushkowski, Chilicki, Campbell back on the ice. 44 seconds to go in the power play. Face off in the corner. Storm try to clear it. Campbell keeps it in. Campbell to Chilicki. In the corner for Paulo. Paulo. Puck goes back to Campbell. He gets it over to Kushkowski. Back to Campbell. Campbell tried to pass it, but didn't get enough on. Storm almost with a shorty attempt. Puck gets knocked away. Pulauskas working hard. Turnover to Paulo. Paulo tries to get a shot. It goes underneath. Kushkowski puts one in front. Still loose. Chilicki gets a stab at it. Chilicki and Pulauskas get tied up. 4 seconds to go. Puck gets sent down the ice. Bounces past Campbell to Kushkowski. Back to Campbell. Minute 35 to go. Miller comes on the ice. Puck up for Reynolds. Storm. Try to get past Miller. He gets it with a stick. Takes a high stick. Still keeps going. Reynolds. Gets hooked. Puck to the corner. Kushkowski gets a hit. Storm sending it around. Miller's going to get to it first. Miller in front. Bounces off of somebody's shin pad. Onak knocks it over to Reynolds. Minute 5 to go. Kushkowski in the corner. Dug out by Letcher. Up to Miller. Shot in front. Puck bounces off of the pad. Storm get a hold of it. Go the other way. Kushkowski changes. Nietzsche comes on. Puck bounces past Cutting and goes for an icing. 46.8 seconds to go in the period. Still Storm up by 1. Puck dug out from Nietzsche's skate. Letcher sends it across for Miller. Miller trying to settle it down. Gets tripped. Clear as day. You don't get more tripped than that. Reynolds takes that puck away. Letcher gets knocked away. Puck over. Storm loses an edge. Onak sends it in. Nietzsche to the corner. Centering. Gets knocked away. Back over to Reynolds. Puck is bouncing everywhere. We really need a clean ice here. 4 seconds. Shot. High. 2-on-1, and he opts to shoot. Puck goes off of the glass, and that's the end of the second. So after 2, Storm up 1. All right, we'll be back. Trying to see if I can get it to work.
That kid's really like
Yeah, I saw
that other kid. Yeah, box.
it. Let's stay there.
Was okay.
Oh, so it was okay. I haven't seen this game. Or is this?
Yeah, 98.
Nothing.
We were with the same team on Charleston at TM.
It is going to be, they're playing with the lead, so it's going to be dump and chase, pin the puck.
How many years?
You did it last year. All right, come back for the third period. We're going to start off with Presidio, Brown, Carter, Aldridge, Giskintis. Face off, controlled by Storm. Puck bounces over to Brown. He sends it back. Storm take it behind their own goaltender. Puck over to the boards. Carter gets there. Puck knocks back up into neutral ice. Presidio knocks it away. Giskintis knocks it back up. Storm still in control. Shoot low on Hutting, and it's 2-0. Paulo, Kruger, Chalicki, Rybicki, and Campbell on the ice. Storm send that puck back to their D and sent back in. Dabrowski put in. Puck gets knocked up to Kruger. Puck bounces off of Paulo, and we have to tag back up. Kruger. Paulo up to Chalicki. Cross ice for Rybicki. Rybicki sends that puck in. Kruger to the corner. Chalicki trying to knock it out of his feet. Nichion. Puck put on Dabrowski and covered. 18:41 to go in the third. Storm control that faceoff. Put it on to Dabrowski. Puck bounces on the goaltender from Nietzsche. Letcher trying to get a puck away. Storm shoot bounces off of the back of the net and then up. Another shot hits off of the pad of Dabrowski. Storm throw a bouncer, bounces over Nolan's pad and in, and Storm are up 3-0. Still a lot of game to go. Presidio, Carter, and Brown come back on the ice. Aldridge for Skinsis. And we take a timeout. All right, timeout is over. Skinsis, Aldridge, Carter, Presidio, Brown back on the ice. Storm send that puck back in. Dabrowski plays it up for Brown. Brown sends it across for Presidio. Presidio knocks it back in, and he's going to get a penalty. Carter tags up, or touches up, and we get a whistle. Takes a vicious hit for it, too. Storm are going to go on the power play. Presidio 2 minutes. Hooking. 17:44 to go in the third. Storm with the puck. Shoot it across the crease. Puck bounces off of Paulo and picked up by Storm. Back up to the blue line. Paulo tries to get a stick on it. Storm go cross ice. Back down on the sideboard and up to the blue line. Shot hits off of their own player. Tries to get it on and goes wide. Storm up the boards. Back to the point. Reynolds tries to knock the puck away. Storm with it. Carry it down. Rubicki gets taken down. Storm have got 3 guys in on Campbell. Cross ice pass, centering pass goes across the crease and misses. Reynolds knocks that puck to the corner. Nietzsche comes on. Onak and Miller at D. Nietzsche almost knocks that puck away. Storm playing through the middle of the ice now. Not their favorite thing to do. Nietzsche sends that down. They're saying it was touch, so no icing. Oh, I'm sorry, we're on the kill still. And Storm are offsides. Krzyzkowski and Bergeron come on the ice. I have some of this on a playlist. Face off won by Kuszkowski, back to Miller. 6:14 to go. Puck knocked down. And slap chop beats Dabrowski. And it's 4-0. Carter, Brown, Presidio, Aldridge, and Pruskinsis on the ice. Presidio pushes that face-off down to Aldridge, goes across Pruskinsis. Hand pass. 16:01 to go in the third. We've got a pretty substantial hole to dig out of. Face off, pushed back to Pruskinsis. He sends it down for Carter. Carter protects the puck, gets taken down. And now we got a hand pass our way. And we'll get a change. Letcher, Reynolds, Nietzsche on the ice. Pruskinsis puts it on net. Reynolds tries to kick that to himself. It gets stuck on the sideboard. Nietzsche coming back, takes the puck away, loose to Pruskinsis. Pruskinsis for Letcher. Bounces past Letcher. D to D for Storm. Puck up the boards over to Pruskinsis. Pruskinsis across to Aldridge. Aldridge up for Reynolds, who chips in. Campbell and Rubicki come on. Puck up to Letcher. Letcher to Campbell. Back up to Letcher. Letcher puts a shot in front. Campbell gets a hold of it. Saved by the goaltender. Storm clear, and that'll go for icing. Campbell with an opportunity and a diving save by the goaltender. Old school stack the pads. Paulo, Kruger, Chilicki on the ice. Storm get kicked out. Face off up to Campbell. Storm send it back up again. Paulo knocks it away. Shot goes across. Paulo ties up. Puck gets knocked to Campbell. Campbell sends it up. Chilicki going for it. Puck goes behind the net and then dumped for Storm. Paulo able to knock that puck down over to Kruger. Kruger sends it in. Paulo, Chilicki change. Pulauskas and Kuszkowski come on. Onak up for Kuszkowski, over for Kruger, back to Kuszkowski. Knocked away from Kuszkowski, but bounces off the boards back to him. Bergeron comes on. 13:48 to go. Storm behind their goaltender. Come up the near boards. Puck dumped in on Dabrowski. Sent up the boards and over to Koszkowski. Polauskas. Pushed in. Storm broke a stick. He goes for a change. Cross ice. Trying to get past Bergeron. Bergeron knocks it to the corner. Koszkowski gets a body on. Onak sends it up. Bergeron bounces away from Berge. Polauskas gets a stick on it. Koszkowski up to Bergeron. Bergeron sends it in on net. Carter and Credidio come on. Credidio behind the net. Up for Brzgintis. Shot in front. A lot of traffic. Still loose. Puck over to Carter and then cleared by Storm. That'll go for icing. 12:42 to go. Brown comes on for Bergeron. Storm gets kicked out for going early. Puck over to the boards. Carter gets a hold of it. Knocked away over to Brown. Brown has the puck underneath of him still. Credidio sends it to the corner where Carter is. Carter takes a shove into the boards. Storm sends it around, but Brown knocks it back in. Credidio comes in to put some pressure on. Puck gets past Credidio and over to the corner. Cross ice pass for Storm. Got a shot on Dabrowski, hits his pads. Carter ahead for Brown. Storm staying in front of it. Send it back down. Aldridge to Brzgintis. Cross for Credidio. Credidio sends it for Carter. Storm send it back across. Campbell. Brown changes. Letcher comes on. Nietzsche gets past one. Over to Campbell. Puck in the middle of the ice. Blocked by Storm. They've got one guy behind. Rybicki comes across. Puts him into the boards. Puck to Reynolds. Up the boards. Storm keep it in. Shot into the glove of Dabrowski. No rebound. Rybicki, Campbell, Letcher, Nietzsche, Reynolds on the ice with 11:14 to go. Storm win that face-off and get a shot, and it's blocked and over to the corner. Another shot blocked by Rybicki. Storm get it away from Rybicki and into the corner. Nietzsche over to help. Back behind Dabrowski and up. Puck comes out. Goaltender decides to play it. Nietzsche tries to get it off of the boards. It bounces off of his stick. Letcher, good job. Gets taken down. Storm back the other way. Chalicki and Paulo come on. Onak and Miller at D. Letcher to Onak. Cross for Miller. Paulo trying to carry that forward. Kruger comes on. Puck bounced off the wall to Onak. Onak up for Chalicki. Paulo brings it in. Cross pass to Kruger. Gets taken away by Storm. Kruger is able to push them all the way to the back wall, and the puck gets pinned. Kruger intercepts a pass, but then it's taken away. Storm up the near boards. Another pass attempt by Storm, but taken away by Chalicki. Chalicki, slap shot, hits off of the stick of the goaltender. Tries to center it. Kushkowski's come on the ice. Gintis and Aldridge at D. 9:18 to go. Storm try to get past the D. Everybody takes a tumble. Kushkowski up to Chalicki. Pass over to Kruger. Polauskas comes on. Kruger's shot goes wide of the net, over to the near board. Polauskas working, trying to get a deflection of any kind. Bergeron on the ice. Storm coming up the near board. Back around. Bergeron up front. They got a shot opportunity, hits off of Campbell. And wide, another shot blocked by Bergeron. Storm play that high. And it's going to go all the way down. Predidio, Brown, and Carter come on the ice. Face-off push to the back wall. Storm. Go up the sideboard, bounces away. Carter gets taken down, takes a Storm player with him. Puck knocked over to Rubicki. Rubicki to Campbell. Campbell going across, that's going to miss, and that'll go for an icing. 8:12 to go. Face off over to the sideboard. Rubicki and Carter trying to get that off of the boards. Rubicki gets a hold of it and sends it across for Campbell. Campbell carries forward. Rubicki changes. Onak comes on. Puck to Carter. Carter sends it back down low. Predidio comes in. Predidio in the corner bounces. Puck bounces off of him. Storm get it up off the boards. Send it across. Onak. Brown changes. Letcher comes on. Onak tries to get one off of a Storm player. Predidio with a nice pass to Letcher, but it gets deflected. Miller to Onak, over to Predidio. Puck past Miller. Onak goes to get it. Knocked away by Storm. Onak picks it up. Sends it for Nietzsche. Reynolds comes on. Drop pass to Letcher. Shot. Good block by, puck is still loose. Letcher in the corner. Puck dug out and put over. Storm send it in. Puck around for Miller. Gintis sends it up for Reynolds, who is offsides. We're going to call intentional, and we'll go all the way down. Chalicki, Hollow, Kruger on the ice. Paulo gets that up to Priskintis, who finds Kruger, hits off of Kruger's stick. Kruger's faster, gets there, but puck gets knocked out from under his skate and into the corner. Chalicki coming over, forces puck to go back, and then up the boards. Paulo keeps it in. Paulo, cross for Chalicki, gets deflected. Priskintis in a foot race. Stuff attempt by Storm is pushed aside by Dabrowski. Another shot attempt off of the blocker. Storm working it back and forth up at the boards. And it's 5-0.
Hey, get him off. It's great to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Well, I think at the start of the clock it's going to run. Or is there no running clock? I don't remember. Kashkowski, Bergeron, Polauskas, Rubicki, and Campbell on the ice. Storm win another faceoff, go D to D and up. Campbell gets to take it down. Puck over to Storm. They get another opportunity in front, but Rubicki knocks it away. Shot wide of Dabrowski, kept in by Storm. Bad bounce off of the boards, back to Storm. Rubicki tries to play that, and Storm send it behind the net. Polauskas plays that puck up, but bounces away. Polauskas, it's a shot, goes high of the net. Campbell tries to pass that to Polauskas, but he was going backwards. Dabrowski plays that over to Kashkowski. Kashkowski behind the net. Up for Campbell. To Onak. Onak tries to kick it. Storm go in front. Dabrowski covers. All right, no running clock. Credidio, Brown, Carter come on the ice. Face off, one back to Miller, over to Credidio. Credidio to Carter. Carter drops it for Credidio, but a little too far. Pass across goes to Brown. Brown to Carter. Carter shot off of the blocker and into the net. A little bit of life for the end of the game here. Almost done the attempt. 3:46 remaining. Brown knocks that under Carter's feet. Carter gets it in the corner, kicks it over to the other corner. And we're going to give Carter a penalty. Oh, no. Storm is getting the penalty for holding. I thought they were calling Carter. All right, we're going on the power play with 2:35 to go in the game, and we're going to send out Reynolds, Letcher, Nietzsche, Polauskas, Priskintis. Perskintis is going to get a penalty for holding. And we're going to go 4-on-4. All right, 4-on-4 for minute 52. Nietzsche, Reynolds, Onak, and Miller. Face off, one over to Miller. Miller goes behind Dabrowski. Gets it to Reynolds. Reynolds to Onak. Onak. It's a shot, bounces off. Backhand shot by Nietzsche to the back wall. Storm send it out. Miller to Onak. Onak to Nietzsche. Nietzsche gets the puck taken away. Then I'm pretty sure he tripped Padilla, but no call there. Onak shot, bounces off, hits off of Nietzsche. Storm get it back. And they decide to send it up and go for a change. Miller back to Onak. Kishkowski comes on. Kishkowski gets it back. Hits off of the defender. Letcher comes on. Campbell and Rubicki at D. 42 seconds to go on 4-on-4. Storm up the near boards. They're offsides. 2:09 to go in the game. 34 seconds remaining in 4-on-4. We'll go on the kill for about 8 seconds. Storm bring the puck up the boards and then go around. 23 seconds to go. Rubicki sends a puck across. Storm intercepts. Turnover to Kishkowski. He tries to go through two, and they take it back. Letcher pins the puck over on the boards. 2-1. We're on the kill for 8 seconds. Rubicki able to dig that puck out. Tries to pass. Puck gets over to Letcher. Letcher to Rubicki. Brown comes on. So we're all even. Rubicki over to Campbell. Brown sends it back down for Kishkowski. Kishkowski in the corner. Escapes one hit over to Letcher. Letcher tries to center. Kept in by Campbell. Bounces off of a Storm player, and they're going back the other way. Good stick, Campbell. They're offsides. Puck back to neutral ice. Carter comes on. Predidio moves up. Pushing wide. Perskintis knocks that puck down. Hits Predidio. Bounces to Rubicki. Rubicki up to Carter. 29 seconds to go. Storm on the back wall. Send it up to Carter. Carter back down low. Coming around. To Aldridge. Cross to Perskintis. Perskintis in front for Predidio. Still loose. 12 seconds to go. So it'll probably be the last draw. Face off to the corner, and they're just going to pin it. Brown digs it out, and that'll be it. Well, not the outcome we wanted, but we got another chance tomorrow. So, Storm go up in the series 1-0. We get another opportunity tomorrow. If we win, then we'll play again on Tuesday. So, we'll see you guys all tomorrow.